Okay guys, let's take a start with IELTS listening module, and we have this listening part 1, and if you want to get a reasonable bench score, you should get 10 by 10 in listening part 1, right? Which is not very difficult. All you need to do, you need to pay more attention towards the questions, see what the questions are, number 1. Number 2, you need to pay attention towards the clue words, the words of what they are going to use, the synonyms. So the words which are going to be converted into synonyms, once you focus those words, first thing. Second, you should know what is going to be the answer. Is the answer an amount, a number, name, city name, or anything like that? So you should be clear about all these things. So that is what I'll tell you. The main 50%, no not 50%, 70% questions and 30% audio. If you understand questions, then there are 70% chances you will find the answer in the audio. And if you don't understand the questions and you have very good listening, you will not be able to find the answer. So the main thing is questions, right? Let's start. Holiday rental. Now holiday, you understand, rental means you are going to get something on rent during holidays. It can be a house, it can be a flat, or it can be anything like that. Holiday rental. Owner's name is given, there is no question about it. And granary cottage. Now that's the name of a cottage. Now we understand, it's just like, in our northern areas, people go and they rent a cottage or a rest house. So this cottage is more going to be like a rest house. Then they say available for week beginning dash May. May is the month. Beginning dash May. It means the answer is going to be a date in May. It will be a date in May, right? And beginning. And by the way, there can be a trap. What is the trap? The person who wants to rent that cottage will say, well, we need it from 15th of May. And the person who is going to give that cottage on rent says, well, let me check. I'm sorry, we have no availability for 15th May. You can book it on 20th May. And the other person says, well, 20th May is too late. What about 8th May? Do you have any availability? They say, yes, we do. So the answer is 8th May. Just listen carefully. Don't be in a hurry that May is written. Whatever they say, I will write it down. Jaan chhuda ke aage chalo. Not like that, okay? So just focus, try to understand. Will you please switch off this fan? We don't need that now. So question number 1, let's take a start.
Hello.
Oh, hello. I was hoping to speak to Jack Fitzgerald about renting a cottage.
I'm his wife Shirley and we own the cottages together, so I'm sure I can help you.
Great. My name's Tom. Some friends of ours rented Granary Cottage from you last year and they thought it was great. So my wife and I are hoping to come in May for a week.
What date did you have in mind?
The week beginning the 14th, if possible.
I'll just check. I'm sorry, Tom, it's already booked that week. It's free the week beginning the 28th, though, for 7 nights. In fact, that's the only time you could have it in May.
Oh, well, we could manage that, I think. We'd just need to change a couple of things.
So, 28th. We could manage that, I think. We just need to change a couple of things. So the answer is 28, or you can write 28th with TH. It is still a number. TH is not a word. TH is the part of number. 28 TH or only 28 is also right. But do not write TWENTYEIGHT. Right? Simply like that. Let's go. And one more thing. As you are doing your IELTS listening test, by the time the audio is going on, do not use eraser. Last time we had a mock test here. I saw someone using eraser during the listening test. Oh, this is wrong, I write again. Whatever is wrong, just cross it, write it again. Write something else. Do not use eraser while listening is going on, because you will erase, write again. Audio will go ahead, you will be behind. So if you are not with the audio, answers will come and go and you will not care. You have to be, for example, if we are playing ball, I have to catch the ball. My hands should be like this Have you ever seen the bowlers when it is in the air, say in the air, and they catch the ball. And if they're looking at the ball, where is the ball? Okay, I'll put my hands later, then they will not be able to catch it. So when you're doing IELTS listening, you should be in a receptive mode. That, okay, whenever the answer comes, I'll just find it and write it down. So that is why be with the audio on the booklet. Wherever the booklet is on the audio. Now when they started this audio, they said Jack, Fitzgerald and Shirley and all that. So they talked about the names, you were there. Then Granary Cottage, then available for week, beginning, you came there. So where is the audio and you are at the right point on the question booklet, you will find the answer. It's not that you are on question number 3, audio is on question number 5 and then you don't know what to do. Let's go on. Cost for the week. Now cost for the week, it means it's going to be the cost that man is going to pay. It may be a cost last year, we used to charge this, or they say normally we charge this amount, but you are lucky, this month we are offering 10% discount. Any drama like that, okay, they often do it. So whatever the final cost is, that will be your answer, final cost. So let's take a start. Question number 2.
That's
How much would it cost?
That's the beginning of high season, so it'd be £550 for the week.
Ah, that's a bit more than we wanted to pay, I'm afraid. We've budgeted up to £500 for accommodation.
So 550. 550 is the cost for the week. Now the man has 500, but that is not the cost. The cost is 550. So the right answer is 550 and pound sign is already given. So you will not write pound sign. It's already there. You will write 550 in digits. Okay, now question number 3. Dash cottage. And you can see cottage, C is capital. Right, C is capital. It means it's going to be the name of the cottage. And if the name is unusual, they will spell it for you. If the name is like Green Cottage, you know green. But if the name is something different, unusual spelling, then they will spell it for you. Let's start.
Converting another building into a cottage. Well, we've just finished converting another building into a cottage, which we're calling Cherville Cottage.
Sorry, what was that again?
Cherville. C-H-E-R-V for Victor, I-L.
Oh, that's a herb, isn't it?
That's right.
So
It grows fairly wild around here.
C-H-E-R-V-I-L. C-H-E-R-V-I-L. Cherville Cottage. It's the name of a herb.
Sometimes I read this kind of word, the pronunciate as Cheryl Cottage.
Listen up, it doesn't matter. You pronounce it as Cherville or Cherville, that's fine. Because in listening, there isn't anything like that. Okay, so and at times, you know, some words are French origin word. Words like chef. Chef is a French word, we have it in English. So the words that come from French, in French, we always pronounce CH as sh. Otherwise, CH has two sounds, ch and k. Ch, k and sh, like that. All right, let's go on. Next, you can see question number 4. Building was originally a. Now, for originally a, in the audio, they may say there used to be a. यहाँ पे हुआ करता था. There used to be a. Or originally, it was a building for. So, whatever was there originally, थोड़ा इधर हो जाएं. Right, that is going to be the answer. Eye contact, yeah, exactly. So, let's see what it was originally.
You could have that for the week you want for £480.
Previous one.
Okay, so could you tell me something about it, please?
Of course. The building was built as a garage. It's a little smaller than Granary Cottage.
The building was built as a garage. So building was built as a garage means building was originally a garage. As a garage and originally a garage. How do you spell garage? G-A-R-A-G-E. Good, very good. Is it clear? See, the words are so simple. Let's go on.
Sir,
Yes.
right now she's saying that cost for a week is 480 pounds.
Yes, actually, you know, I continued with the audio. So first it came cost for the week 480 pound. Now they are talking about Sherville Cottage. Now they are not talking about the Granary Cottage. Granary Cottage is 550, but the man said my budget is 500. So they gave this other one. Okay. Yes. If you write the wrong spelling, your answer is wrong. Listen, listen. This is one word only. With one word only, now the answer is garage, for example, and you write a garage. You know, आदत होती है, the garage, Punjabi da, जिधर लगे लगा लो. Just a minute. If you write any extra word, your answer is wrong. If you write wrong spelling, again your answer is wrong. Exactly. Yes.
The same question. If we write garage spelling wrong, word e at the end of garage, then it is wrong.
It will be wrong. If you write wrong spelling, for example, garage, you write without E, that's wrong. This spelling does not exist in English. All right. So they accept British spelling, COLOUR color British, COLOR color American, but they don't expect you Asian or Punjabi spelling KOLOUR color and cooler. Yeah, not like that. So spelling and the number of words, they are very sensitive about it. Let's go on. Yes, now that's a good question. If there is a verb after that and that word which you are writing is qualifying that verb. For example, dash have many useful applications. Dash have. Dash are very important. It means you will write plural word. Okay. Now if they say dash is, dash has, it means singular. Now over here, if you don't write according to the verb, your answer is wrong. Otherwise, if it comes at the end, where there is no verb after that, then it doesn't matter singular or plural. Clear? Yeah. If that word is qualifying a verb after that, then you have to be careful with singular and plural. If there is no verb after it, then that's fine. Right? Okay, now we go on. Question number 5. Walk through doors from living room into a. Now look here. From living room, there is a door into a lawn or into a terrace or into a something. So just focus living room and they will say from living room we have a door to the and something like that. Now let's just do it. Question number 5.
So that must sleep 2 people as well.
That's right. There's a double bedroom.
Does it have a garden?
Yes, you get to it from the living room through French doors, and we provide 2 deck chairs.
See, that answer came first and then she said yes, you can get to it there from the living room and all that. So the answer is garden. So you need to retain some part. I play it again. I play this one again.
As well. So that must sleep 2 people as well.
That's right. There's a double bedroom.
Does it have a garden?
Yes, you get to it from the living room through French doors, and we provide 2 deck chairs.
You get to it from the living room. Is there a garden? Yes, you get to it. It means garden, right? So the answer is garden. Very good. Okay, question number 6. Several dash spaces at the front. For several, they can use any other word. Several, right? Focus several. Dash spaces at the front. Now please listen and see what it is.
We hope to build a patio in the near future, but I wouldn't like to guarantee it'll be finished by May.
Okay.
The front door opens onto the old farmyard, and parking isn't a problem. There's plenty of room at the front for that. There are some trees and potted plants there.
So, parking isn't a problem. There is plenty of that. Trees? Several trees. How if you write the word trees over here, how can you read this sentence? Several trees, spaces at the front. Does it make any sense? Remember, whenever you put a wrong word in the blank, it will never make any sense. Yes, if you say several parking spaces at the front, several parking spaces at the front, that makes sense. I'm going to play it again.
Due in the near future, but I wouldn't like to guarantee it'll be finished by May.
Okay.
The front door opens onto the old farmyard, and parking isn't a problem. There's plenty of room at the front for that.
Parking.
There are some trees and potted plants there.
So parking isn't a problem. There is plenty of that. So the answer is parking. Several parking and then spaces. Okay, bathroom has a shower. They will speak about it, but there is no question. Question number 7. Central heating and stove that burns dash. It means the material that it burns. Stove that burns coal. कोयला जलता है उसमें. Stove, you know, chula sort of thing. Stove that burns coal. Stove that burns gas. Stove that burns. What else do we burn in the stove? Just imagine a cottage, countryside, wood, exactly. So stove that burns wood, stove that burns coal, or anything that it burns, right? आपके जैसे कागज नु भी आग ला लेने, not कागज, but anything they say there, right? Yeah. Let's see. Question number 7.
The cottage. It has standard things like a cooker and fridge, I presume.
In the kitchen area, there's a fridge freezer, and we've just put in an electric cooker.
Is there a washing machine?
Yes, there's also a TV in the living room, which plays DVDs too. The bathroom is too small for a bath, so there's a shower instead. I think a lot of people prefer that nowadays anyway.
It's more environmentally friendly, isn't it? Unless you spend half the day in it.
Exactly.
What about heating? It sometimes gets quite cool at that time of year.
There's central heating, and if you want to light a fire, there's a stove. We can provide all the wood you need for it. It smells so much nicer than coal, and it makes the room very cozy. We've got one in our own house.
That sounds very pleasant. Perhaps we should come in the winter to make the most of it.
Yes, we find we don't want to go out when we've got the fire burning.
Okay, stove that burns wood. They said wood will provide you that. Okay, the wood that it needs will provide you that. I'm just going to play this part again. Please listen.
The cottage. It has standard things like a cooker and fridge, I presume.
In the kitchen area, there's a fridge freezer, and we've just put in an electric cooker.
Is there a washing machine?
Yes, there's also a TV in the living room, which plays DVDs too. The bathroom is too small for a bath, so there's a shower instead. I think a lot of people prefer that nowadays anyway.
It's more environmentally friendly, isn't it? Unless you spend half the day in it.
Exactly.
What about heating? It sometimes gets quite cool at that time of year.
There's central heating, and if you want to light a fire, there's a stove. We can provide all the wood you need for.
There's a stove and we can provide all the wood you need for that. Okay. All right, let's go on. Question number 8. Views of old dash from living room. Now just imagine they have a living room, and from the living room you can see something old, like old castle. From the living room you can see old, and for old they may use the word ancient, or for old they can use the word it was built 100 years ago. Old castle, old something. Now just focus this living room, and whatever you can see from the living room, that will be your answer. Let's go on.
There are some attractive views from the cottage which I haven't mentioned. There's a famous stone bridge. It's one of the oldest in the region, and you can see it from the living room. It isn't far away.
Yeah, no, now stone bridge will be 2 words. Question type is 1 word. Now whenever you come to know about 2 words, you need to ask yourself, if I write only stone, view of old stone, it doesn't make any sense, right? So bridge is going to be the answer. Old bridge, for old they used ancient, or it was built 100 years ago and all that. Okay, now let's go on. Question number 9. View of hilltop dash from the bedroom. Now there is another thing which you can see, view of hilltop dash from the bedroom. Now hilltop what? For hilltop means top of the mountain. Hilltop means top of the hill. So whatever you can see on top of the hill from the bedroom, that will be the answer. Okay, let's go on.
The bedroom window looks in the opposite direction and has a lovely view of the hills and the monument at the top.
And the monument on the top, right? I play it again. You should be familiar with this word.
The bedroom window looks in the opposite direction and has a lovely view of the hills and the monument at the top.
And the monument at the top. So at the top means hilltop monument. Monument at the top means hilltop monument. How do you spell monument? M-O-N-U-M-E-N-T. Monument. Very good. Now if you're not familiar with this word, you will miss it. Let's say movement they said or something like that. So you should be familiar with these words. Question number 10. Payment. Deposit is £144. Deadline for final payment. End of. Yeah, end of means it can be a month. Right? First they said May. So it can be, what is the month before May? April. End of April. Right? End of February. End of March. End of something like that. Let's listen. And that is for deadline for final payment.
Well, that all sounds perfect. I'd like to book it, please. Would you want a deposit?
Yes, we ask for 30% to secure your booking. So that'll be £144.
And when would you like the rest of the money?
You're coming in May, so the last day of March, please.
Fine.
The
Excellent.
last day of March, please. Last day and end. Now these are synonyms. Last day of March, end of March. Yeah. Okay guys, now let's move on with IELTS listening part 2. Part 2 is going to be a little more difficult and complicated than part 1. So you should be ready for that. Usually in part 2, you come across 3 to 4 type of questions. Number 1, multiple choice. Number 2, map. Number 3, multiple choice where out of 5 options you have to select 2. And number 4, they can be matching type of questions. So these 4 questions are very, very common in IELTS listening part 2. Now let's take a start. The title, part 2, questions 11 to 14, title is Local Council Report on Traffic and Highways. Local council is like, you know, we have city councils here, right? So like town, municipality and town committee and all that. So local council report on traffic and highways. Just imagine there is a local council that has given a report on traffic and highways. Highways are like motorways, GT roads and all that, right? Now let's see, in multiple choice I have figured it out. If you just read in part 1, 2, 3, wherever you get multiple choice, if you just read the question, when they give you half minute to read the question, and you go through the options when the audio is going on, because you will not remember everything. If you read all the options now, you will not remember. So just try this way, read the main question, don't read the options, but when the audio is going on, then your eyes should move among the options that, okay, this one or that one or that one or that one, like that. Let's see how to do it. A survey found people's main concern, underline main concern. Now listen, whenever they use the word main or any other word like that, main concern, it means they will tell us about their minor concerns. Those minor concerns are other 2 options, and main concern is only 1 option. Now you will listen to the audio carefully and you will see what is the main concern of the people. People particularly complained about, people particularly they were worried about. That is their main concern. Anything like if they say, well, most of the people did not even mention that. So whatever they say after that, that will not be the answer. If they say, we considered cuts to public transport, but no one talked about it, that is not the main concern. So you should see what is the main concern of the people about traffic in the area was. Now what was their main concern? That will be the answer. Minor concern, no concern, or anything they speak opposite. For example, A, cuts to public transport. Cuts to public transport means they need to cut it. I mean, there are many public transport vehicles, they need to cut it short. B, poor maintenance of roads, right? And C is changes in the type of traffic. Now, type of traffic means trucks, lorries, buses, and all that. Now, I play the audio. The first challenge for you is to pick up the option which is being discussed. They will not speak about them first A, then B, then C. They may start from option C, then they go back to option A, then they come to option B. And as they mention, and you don't know, sometimes the first option they mention, that is the right answer. Sometimes the middle option is the right answer. Sometimes the first two are wrong. The last one which they discuss, that is the right answer. Now, you should just keep in mind main concern, people's main concern. I play the audio. Please listen and answer. Question number 11.
Right, next on the agenda we have traffic and highways. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you. Well, we now have the results of the survey carried out last month about traffic and road transport in the town. People were generally satisfied with the state of the roads. There were one or two complaints about potholes, which will be addressed, but a significant number of people complained about the increasing number of heavy vehicles using our local roads to avoid traffic elsewhere. We'd expected more complaints by commuters about the reduction in the train service, but it doesn't seem to have affected people too much.
So, they spoke about A negatively, we expected. Whatever they speak about, we expected and all that, usually that is not the answer. So, what is the right answer? Actually, C. C for cat. That is changes in the type of traffic. Changes in the type of traffic, that was the main concern. I'm playing the audio again. Please listen.
Right, next on the agenda we have traffic and highways. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you. Well, we now have the results of the survey carried out last month about traffic and road transport in the town. People were generally satisfied with the state of the roads.
People were generally satisfied with the state of the road. Poor maintenance of road, cross it. That's not the answer. Now we are left with A and C. People were generally satisfied with the state of the road. Let's go on.
There were one or two complaints about potholes, which will be addressed, but a significant number of people complained about the increasing number of heavy vehicles.
Significant number of people complained about increased number of heavy traffic, right? So, changes in the type of traffic, increasing number of heavy traffic, changes in the type of traffic, C is the right answer. Now, how do they talk about A? Listen again. You must be careful in multiple choice. If you know how to locate the wrong answer, you will always find the right answer. Because whenever in multiple choice you select a wrong answer, you are trapped. You think, you find the wrong answer, you are trapped, you think this is the right one. Now listen carefully how they speak about A.
Using our local roads to avoid traffic elsewhere. We'd expected more complaints by commuters about the reduction in the train service.
We'd expected. In multiple choice, whenever they say we'd expected, we thought, that is never the right answer. So, we'd expected more complaints about the reduction in the trains and all that. So, cuts to public transport, she said we'd expected. But what happened?
But it doesn't seem to have affected people too much.
But it doesn't seem to affect the people too much. So, it is not the right answer. Is that clear? Now, the right answer is C, exactly. Question number 12. Which change will shortly be made? Now, underline shortly be made. If they do something after 6 months, that is not shortly be made. If something is already done, that is not the change which will be made shortly. So, which change will shortly be made to the cycle path next to the river? Now, change and just underline shortly be made. Shortly mean immediately. They will do that change immediately, priority basis, right? So, and you can see in multiple choice now 3 words are being repeated. It will be, will be, will be, will be. So, you don't need to read all. A, widened. Now, see, they are talking about cycle path. Just imagine there is a cycle path and they are going to widen it, right? Option B, extended. path will be extended. Like if it is now 3 kilometers path, it is going to be 5 kilometers path. It will be extended. A is widened, khula kar denge. B is extended, means they will make it long one. And C is resurfaced. Resurfaced means on the upper surface of the road. You know, sometimes they are putting tar and other stuff like that. So that is what called resurface. Now listen, they will speak about all three options. Some options they will do after 6 months, after 2 months. Some they will not do. Some they say we did them already. But one thing they are going to do immediately. For that they use the word shortly. So whatever they do immediately out of three options, that will be your answer. Let's start.
The cycle path that runs alongside the river is very well used by both cyclists and pedestrians since the surface was improved last year. But overtaking can be a problem, so we're going to add a bit on the side to make it wider. At some stage, we'd like to extend the path so that it goes all the way through the town, but that won't be happening in the immediate future.
So, okay, now you said B, it will be extended. Yeah, listen, they are not going to do it immediately. Option A, it will be widened. And for that they use the word we are going to do it. Going to, for example, if I say I'm going to drink water, this is the meaning of going to, right? Now listen again please, so that you guys are clear.
The cycle path that runs alongside the river is very well used by both cyclists and pedestrians since the surface was improved last year.
Since the surface was improved last year. So it will be resurfaced? No. Surface was improved last year. Cross it. Now you are left with A, B.
But overtaking can be a problem, so we're going to add a bit on the side to make it wider.
We are going to add a bit on the side to make it wider. We are going to. When you say going to, I just gave you the example. That means you are going to do it immediately. So which change will shortly be made? It will be widened. Okay. And the third one which you selected, I'll play that.
At some stage, we'd like to extend the path. So
at some stage, we'd like to extend the path. Future. At some stage, we'd like to extend the path, but not now. Clear? Good. Let's go on. Question number 13, please. Plans for a pedestrian crossing have been postponed because. Plans have been postponed and reason. This multiple choice is about a reason. So they will tell you 3 reasons, but 2 reasons will be fake. Right? For example, my plan for going to Islamabad has cancelled. You say reason. First, my mother stopped me, but at the end she allowed me to go. So mother is not the reason. See that? They talk like that. Now let's see what are the reasons. A, post office has moved. Reason A, post office has moved to a different location. B, proposed location is unsafe. Location unsafe. Right? C, funding is not available. Right? Now if they say we don't have any problem with funding, we have sufficient budget, then this is not the answer. Right? B is proposed location is unsafe. If they say, well, this location was thought to be unsafe, but now we have come to know that this is the safest location. That is not the answer. You just have to see. Post office has moved, if they say anything about that. Now, 2 options which are not the answers, they will speak about them negatively, oppositely, or in any way, but you just have to focus one thing, that is pedestrian crossing have been postponed because. What is the reason for that? I play the audio, please listen.
The plans to have a pedestrian crossing next to the post office have unfortunately had to be put on hold for the time being. We budgeted for this to be done this financial year, but then there were rumours that the post office was going to move, which would have meant there wasn't really a need for a crossing. Now they've confirmed that they're staying where they are, but the Highways Department have told us that it would be dangerous to have a pedestrian crossing where we'd originally planned it, as there's a bend in the road there, so that'll need some more thought.
It will be dangerous. It is B. The proposed location is unsafe. Now see that it was well budgeted. Budgeted means they don't have issues with option C. Funding is not available. A, post office has moved. First they said there were rumors. There were rumors that they were going to move the post office, but now they've decided not to move it. So A is not the answer. I'm playing it again for you. Please listen carefully.
The plans to have a pedestrian crossing next to the post office have unfortunately had to be put on hold for the time being. We budgeted for this to be done this financial year.
We budgeted this to be done this financial year. Budgeted means budget hai, right? So C, funding is not available, wrong. Clear? Yeah, now let's go on.
But then there were rumours that the post office was going to move, which would have meant there wasn't really a need for a crossing.
So then there were rumors post office was going to move, and then there wasn't any need for crossing.
Now they've confirmed that they're staying where they are.
Now they've confirmed that they are staying, means post office people are staying where they are. So post office has moved, wrong answer. When you locate two wrong options, it's understood the one which is left is the right answer. Right? Now they will talk about B.
But the Highways Department have told us that it would be dangerous to have a pedestrian crossing where we'd originally planned it.
So the highway department told us that it would be dangerous. Dangerous means location is unsafe. Dangerous and location is unsafe. B is the answer. Let's go on. Question number 14. On Station Road, notices have been erected. And what are these notices telling people? A is telling, B is asking, C is warning. Okay? Now basically you will just see on Station Road, they will talk about a road which is called Station Road, and they have the notices. What do the notices say on Station Road? That will be your answer, right? Now A, telling cyclists not, now see this is a very long answer, very long option. I tell you how to cut it short. Telling cyclists not to leave their bikes outside the station ticket office. Telling cyclists not to leave bikes. That's it. Telling cyclists not to leave bikes, or telling not to leave bikes. Understood that the bicycle riders will leave them. So telling not to leave bikes. कि यहाँ पे bike नहीं खड़ी करनी. Something like that. Simple. And imagine also, in listening, your imagination will help you a lot. If you imagine Station Road, bicycles, and telling them bicycle इतनी लानी जुत्तियाँ मारांगा, like something like that. Okay. So B, asking motorists to switch off engines when waiting at the level crossing. So asking motorists switch off engines. If they talk about anything related to the smoke or fume, or any fume, they use the word for smoke. So they say if the people who stand, they suffered from the smoke of motors and all that. So we request them to switch off their engine while they are waiting for the train and all that. And C, warning pedestrians, leave enough time when crossing the railway line. Warning pedestrians, leave enough time. So now listen, whether it is telling cyclists, and you know cycle nahi khadi karni either, right? Asking motorists, engine band karke rakhna hai. And third is warning pedestrians that they have to move quickly or to leave enough time when crossing the railway line. Now play the audio, please listen and answer.
On Station Road near the station and level crossing, drivers can face quite long waits if the level crossing's closed, and we've now got signs up requesting them not to leave their engines running at that time. This means pedestrians waiting on the pavement to cross the railway line don't have to breathe in car fumes. We've had some problems with cyclists leaving their bikes chained to the railings outside the ticket office, but the station has agreed to provide bike racks there.
Station has agreed to provide bike racks there. We had problems, problem hal ho gaya, bike racks aa gaye. So A is not the answer. She said we had, and usually in multiple choice, the option which they speak in the past, we had some problems with that and all that, usually they are not the right answers. Okay. So what's the right answer? B for boy. Asking motorists to switch off engines when waiting at the level crossing. I'll play this again for you.
On Station Road near the station and level crossing, drivers can face quite long waits if the level crossing's closed, and we've now got signs up requesting them not to leave their engines running at that time.
requesting them, signs requesting them not to leave their engines running. That is asking motorists to switch off engines. Switch off engines means not to leave their engines running, right? And then they said fumes and all that.
This means pedestrians waiting on the pavement to cross the railway line don't have to breathe in car fumes.
Now, pedestrians waiting on the railway line, they don't have to breathe in car fumes. This is related to B. This is not related to C. C is warning pedestrians to leave enough time. They did not mention. They only said pedestrians who are standing by the cars, they will not breathe in car fumes. And the last option?
We've had some problems with cyclists leaving their bikes chained to the railings outside the ticket office, but the station has agreed to provide bike racks there.
So, station has agreed to provide bike racks. Now, there is no problem with that, right? Okay. Well, let's go on. If you are someone who says maps are very difficult for me, now get ready. By the way, if you understand maps, they will be a piece of cake for you. Simple and easy job. Now, on this map, if you just come to the map, the first thing is do not read the questions. Whenever they give you the map, do not read the questions, because questions are nothing. 15, new car park. In the audio, they will speak about it. 16, new cricket pitch. Never read the questions, read the map. Okay. Now, first on the right corner, you guys can see they have written north, east, west and south. Use your pencil and write a big E on the right side, big S on the bottom, big W on the left side and big N on top. On top write N, capital N. On left write W, W for west. On right side write E, E for east, and bottom is south. Now try to understand. Whenever they say northwest corner, north, now this is north, this is west, this corner is northwest corner. If they say anything like northeast corner, this is north and this is east, so this corner is called northeast corner. You should know that. And if they say anything on the west side, go to the left one. If they say on the east side, come to the right one. If they say towards the north side, near the river, just go there. And if they say in the south side, that is the bottom of the map. So if they give you any directions like that, you should just use capital letter and write it down there. Now after that, we will see what are the main places on this map. Number 1, community hall. Can you see that? There is a community hall. Then there is a road, right? Then there is a river. And then there is a line of trees. That's it. So whatever they say, it's next to the line of trees, or when you cross the line of trees, you will find it. That is F.
Shall we quickly discuss the recommendations?
Okay? Yeah. And if they say anything, community hall. Now, community hall, if they say towards the west of community hall, then it is C. If they say towards the east side of community hall, it is G. You should know that, right? And then you can see there is a A, B, and then if they say anything near the river, along the river, it can be E or A. And then line of trees and all that. Now, they have given us a key also. Please come to this key, a small key. That is footpath. So, it's a good idea if you write over there footpath. Whatever is given in the key, write it on the map. So that if they refer anything about footpath, you know कि जो नुक्ते लगे में ये footpath है, right? Now we are all set. In half minute, you guys have to do this thing. When the audio starts, then you will come to question number 15, new car park, because in the audio, they will speak about it one by one. They will say like, first of all, new car park, right? And then they will tell you where the new car park is. And one more thing, starting point of the map is the most important one, because you need to put your pencil over there where they are starting. So let's take a start.
So next on the agenda is proposals for improvements to the recreation ground. Councillor Thornton again.
Well, since we managed to extend the recreation ground, we've spent some time talking to local people about how it could be made a more attractive and useful space. If you have a look at the map up on the screen, you can see the river up in the north and the community hall near the entrance from the road. At present, cars can park between the community hall and that line of trees to the east, but this is quite dangerous for pedestrians, so we're suggesting a new car park on the opposite side of the community hall, right next to it.
We are recommending a new car park opposite side of community hall right next to it. It is? G is already there near the line of tree, which is dangerous. Huh? I play this again. I don't want tukas. Please listen again.
So next on the agenda is proposals for improvements to the recreation ground. Councillor Thornton again.
Well, since we managed to extend the recreation ground, we've spent some time talking to local people about how it could be made a more attractive and useful space. If you have a look at the map up on the screen, you can see the river up in the north and the community hall near the entrance from the road. At present, cars can park between the community hall and that line of trees to the...
At present, cars can park between the community hall and the line of trees. That is G. At present. Okay, now they are going to tell us where are they going to shift it. So G is not the answer. G is where already they are parking the cars. Now listen.
East, but this is quite dangerous for pedestrians. So we're suggesting a new car park on the opposite side of the community hall, right next to it.
We are suggesting another car park on the opposite side of community hall. Now you might argue D, but see that G and opposite side is C. Okay, so the right answer is C. All right, let's go on. Question number 16, new cricket pitch. Sometimes, in the map they tell you it is already at one location, but we are going to relocate it. Right? So you should be careful. Let's go on. Question number 16.
We also have a new location for the cricket pitch. As we've now purchased additional space to the east of the recreation ground, beyond the trees, we plan to move it away from its current location, which is rather near the road, into this new area beyond the line of trees. This means there's less danger of stray balls hitting cars or pedestrians.
New area beyond the line of trees. Now there is a line of trees and new area beyond the line of trees, that is F. Exactly. Well done. I'll play it again. I know some of you are still confused.
We also have a new location for the cricket pitch. As we've now purchased additional space to the east of the recreation ground.
Now we've purchased additional space to the east of recreational ground. Immediately come to east side. Right?
Beyond the trees, we plan to move it away from its current location, which is rather near the road, into this new area beyond the line of trees.
Into this new area which they've purchased on the east side beyond the line of trees. There is only one option. F is the right answer for that. Okay, let's go on. Children's playground. Now we see where children's playground is or where it is going to be. So question number 17.
We've got plans for a children's playground which will be accessible by a footpath from the community hall and will be alongside the river. We'd originally thought of having it close to the road, but we think this will be a more attractive location.
Along the river, footpath. Now see, if you talk about E is not along the river. Along the river means darya ke saath. Right? Yeah, there is a footpath also, and you know that dotted line is footpath. So the right answer is A. I'm going to play this again for you.
We've got plans for a children's playground which will be accessible by a footpath from the community hall and will
accessible by footpath from the community hall. Now you could see it's A, B, D from here until this point.
Be alongside the river.
Alongside the river.
We originally thought of having
it near the road. That was what they thought.
It close to the road, but we think this will be a more attractive location.
This would be more attractive location, so that is option A. We had plans to move it to the road, but actually they didn't move it. Next is skateboard ramp. Have you seen that skateboard? You stand on it and there is a ramp going up and this side and all that. Let's see where are they going to put it.
The skateboard ramp is very popular with both younger and older children. We had considered moving this up towards the river, but in the end we decided to have it in the southeast corner near the road.
Southeast corner near the road. Aye. Simple. And they say we wanted to move it to. झूठ बोल रहे हैं. Yeah, in other words, बकवास कर रहे हैं. When they say we wanted to, we considered, we wanted to do it, वो सब झूठ है. जो किया, present tense, that is going to be your answer. So northeast, they said southeast corner, that is only option I. Let's go on 19, pavilion. Let's see where pavilion is.
The pavilion is very well used at present by both football players and cricketers. It will stay where it is now, to the left of the line of trees and near to the river, handy for both the football and cricket pitches.
Left of the line of trees and near the river. Only one option, that is E. Why not H? H is not near the river, right? Yeah, left to line of trees near the river. E is the answer. Okay, question number 20, please. Notice board. Now let's see where are they going to put the notice board.
And finally, we'll be getting a new notice board for local information, and that will be directly on people's right as they go from the road into the recreation ground.
As they go into the road to the recreational ground on their right. So enter from the road and on the right, what is it? H. That's right. Clear? You should repeat it actually. Yeah. Okay guys, now we have part 3 and this part 3 is a little unusual. Why unusual? Because usually in part 3 we have multiple choice with 3 options and you have to select one option from 3. But in this part 3 we have multiple choice where there are 5 options and out of 5 options you have to select 2 options. So for this they will give you 30 seconds to read the questions and I advise you to read all the questions and the options as well. Question number 21 and 22. Choose 2 letters. Which 2 benefits of city bike sharing? Now just underline benefits. 2 benefits. 2 benefits mean 2 advantages, 2 positives. So which 2 benefits of city bike sharing schemes do the students agree are most important? 2 benefits and students agree. One person tells one benefit, other doesn't agree. That is not right answer. Other person says something that there is another benefit and the first ones will say, I don't think this is a plus point. So you need to see their agreement on these benefits. So it means they will discuss all 5 benefits one by one, right? But on 2 benefits, both will agree that yes, that's right. And for agreement, they usually say, yes, you are right. Yes, I understand, or I am with you. I got your point. Yes, absolutely. Anything like that. Now, what are the options? Reducing noise pollution. Reducing noise pollution. Very short option. Reducing traffic congestion. Improving air quality. Encouraging health and fitness. Making cycling affordable. Now, these are all 5 benefits. Both students will talk about all these 5 benefits, but on 2 benefits, they will agree. Now again, they will speak about these 5 options in any order. They may start from option E, then they come back to option C, then they go to option D. So first you need to catch the option and then you have to see whether the students agree on it. If agree, tick. If they disagree, cross. That is not the answer. Let's do it. Now this time you will select both letters together. I'm playing the audio for question 21 and 22.
Now that we've done all the research into bike sharing schemes in cities around the world, we need to think about how we're going to organise our report.
Right. I think we should start by talking about the benefits. I mean, it's great that so many cities have introduced these schemes where anyone can pick up a bike from dozens of different locations and hire it for a few hours. It makes riding a bike very convenient for people.
Yes, but the costs can add up. And that puts people on low incomes off in some places.
I suppose so. But if it means more people in general are cycling rather than driving, then because they're increasing the amount of physical activity they do, it's good for their health.
Okay, but isn't that of less importance? I mean, doesn't the impact of reduced emissions on air pollution have a more significant effect on people's health?
Certainly in some cities, bike sharing has made a big contribution to that. and also help to cut the number of cars on the road significantly.
Which is the main point.
Exactly.
Which is the
But
main
I'd
point,
say
yeah.
it's had less of an impact on noise pollution because there are still loads of buses and lorries around.
Right.
B, B for boy, and C for cat. Absolutely. B for boy, reducing traffic congestion. I'll play it again for you, don't worry. B for boy, reducing traffic congestion, and C is improving air quality. Not encouraging health and fitness, they did not agree. One said it will increase their health and fitness, but the other said no, that's not that. Making cycling affordable, they talked about the price as well, but they did not agree on that. I'm going to play it again, please follow.
Now that we've done all the research into bike sharing schemes in cities around the world, we need to think about how we're going to organise our report.
Right. I think we should start by talking about the benefits. I mean, it's great that so many cities have introduced these schemes where anyone can pick up a bike from dozens of different locations and hire it for a few hours. It makes riding a bike very convenient for people.
Yes, but the costs can add up, and that puts people on low incomes off in some places.
I suppose so. But if it means more people in general are cycling rather than driving, then because they're...
So they did not agree on making cycling affordable, right? Now she is talking about the next point.
increasing the amount of physical activity they do, it's good for their health.
Okay, but isn't that of less importance?
Okay, but isn't that of less importance? They don't agree. Whenever they say okay, but means they don't agree, right? So D, encouraging health and fitness, they did not agree. Until now, we have crossed option E and option D. Let's go on now.
I mean, doesn't the impact of reduced emissions on air pollution have a more significant effect on people's health?
Certainly in some cities, bike sharing has made a big contribution to that. And also...
So they agreed on improving air quality. Certainly in some cities they did that and all that.
to cut the number of cars on the road significantly.
Which is the main point.
Exactly.
Which is the main point. Cut the number of cars significantly, that is reducing traffic congestion. Cut the number of cars. Cut means kam karna. Right? And then they agreed on that. So B is the other option.
But I'd say it's had less of an impact on noise pollution because there are still loads of buses and lorries around.
It will have lesser impact on noise pollution. Reducing noise pollution, they said lesser impact. Still there are many lorries and buses around. Now I play this again. Just listen calmly and see why E, D and A are wrong options. They spoke about E first, then D, then they moved up. So let's do it.
Now that we've done all the research into bike sharing schemes in cities around the world, we need to think about how we're going to organise our report.
Right. I think we should start by talking about the benefits. I mean, it's great that so many cities have introduced these schemes where anyone can pick up a bike from dozens of different locations and hire it for a few hours. It makes riding a bike very convenient for people.
Yes, but the costs can add up, and that puts people on low incomes off in some places.
I suppose so. But if it means more people in general are cycling rather than driving, then because they're increasing the amount of physical activity they do, it's good for their health.
Okay, but isn't that of less importance? I mean, doesn't the impact of reduced emissions on air pollution have a more significant effect on people's health?
Certainly in some cities, bike sharing has made a big contribution to that. And also helped to cut the number of cars on the road significantly.
Which is the main point.
Exactly. But I'd say it's had less of an impact on noise pollution because there are still loads of buses and lorries around.
Right.
Did you notice one thing? They went backward. First they spoke about option E, then D, then C, then B and then A. So they went all the way backward. Let's go on. Questions 23 to 24. Choose two letters. Now, which two things do the students think are necessary for successful bike sharing? Two things necessary, successful bike sharing. Clear? Which two things do the students think are necessary for successful bike sharing schemes? So let's go on. Option A, bikes should have a GPS system, underline GPS system, and bike is understood. We are talking about bike, right? So we just take it for granted because we are talking about bike. B, app should be easy to use, app. A is GPS system, B is app. C is public awareness. D is one scheme should be available, not so many schemes. At a time, one scheme should be available. And option E, large network of cycle lanes. Right, just underline these words, large network of cycle lanes. Now you have to catch the option which is being discussed. Let's go on.
Shall we quickly discuss the recommendations we're going to make?
In order to ensure bike sharing schemes are successful?
Yes.
Okay. Well, while I think it's nice to have really state-of-the-art bikes with things like GPS, I wouldn't say they're absolutely necessary.
But some technical things are really important, like a fully functional app, so people can make payments and book bikes easily. Places which haven't invested in that have really struggled.
Good point. Some people say there shouldn't be competing companies offering separate bike-sharing schemes, but in some really big cities, competition's beneficial. And anyway, one company might not be able to manage the whole thing.
Right. Deciding how much to invest is a big question. Cities which have opened loads of new bike lanes at the same time as introducing bike-sharing schemes have generally been more successful. But there are examples of successful schemes where this hasn't happened. What does matter, though, is having a big publicity campaign.
Definitely. If people don't know how to use the scheme or don't understand its benefits, they won't use it. People need a lot of persuasion to stop using their cars.
So, option B and option C actually. B for boy and C for cat. Don't worry, I'll tell you why. B is app should be easy to use. Okay, and C is public awareness should be raised. They spoke about it. Now listen, do one thing. With A, write 1. A के साथ लिखें 1. With B, write 2. With C, write 5. With D for doctor, write 3. And with E for elephant, write 4. This is the order in which they spoke about them. Now I'm going to play the audio. Just go to number 1, then number 2, then number 3, number 4 and listen very carefully.
Shall we quickly discuss the recommendations we're going to make?
In order to ensure bike sharing schemes are successful?
Yes.
Okay. Well, while I think it's nice to have really state-of-the-art bikes with things like GPS, I wouldn't say they're absolutely necessary.
I wouldn't say that they are absolutely necessary. That's what the question is. Students think are necessary. I wouldn't say that is absolutely necessary. So A should be crossed. Now we are left with 4 options. Let's go on.
But some technical things are really important, like a fully functional app, so people can make payments and book bikes easily. Places which haven't invested in that have really struggled.
Good point.
Good point. App and good point. So B is the right answer. Right? Now we go on. Next option D will be discussed in the audio. And by the way, yes, initially we find 2 options. Let's go on.
Some people say there shouldn't be competing companies offering separate bike sharing schemes, but in some really big cities, competition's beneficial. And anyway, one
Okay, in some cities competition is beneficial. Only one scheme should be available. He says in some countries competition is beneficial. It means more than one. So D is the wrong option because they spoke oppositely.
Company might not be able to manage the whole thing.
Right. Deciding how much to invest is a big question. Cities which have opened loads of new bike lanes at the same time as introducing bike sharing schemes have...
Okay, now there should be a large network of cycle lanes. Now they are talking about it. Listen.
Generally been more successful, but there are examples of successful schemes where this hasn't happened.
So there are examples of successful schemes where this hasn't happened. There should be a large network of cycle lanes. So it is not necessary. There are examples of some schemes where this hasn't happened. So E is also the wrong one. Now let's go on.
A big publicity campaign.
Definitely.
Now big publicity campaign, what is that? Public awareness should be raised. For public awareness, they used big publicity campaign. So the right answer is B and C. And you can write it in any order on your answer sheet, like 23B and 24C, or 23C, 24B. But I will advise you to write the first letter with first question, second letter with the next question, like 23B, 24C, right? Now we have another type of questions, 25 to 30. This is what we call matching. ठीक है? Matching. Matching की है कभी? Shoes black है तो jeans भी black होनी चाहिए. This is what we call matching. Purse red है तो dress भी red होना चाहिए. That is what we call matching. और कुछ लोग बच्चे matching करते हैं. इसकी शादी उसके साथ होगी, उसकी उसके साथ होगी. When I was small, I'm on camera. Okay, leave it. Leave it. When I was small, I noticed few things about some of my people. I'll not mention, right? And then later on, they got married. Then I was, okay. Now I realize. So that is also matching. बच्चे मासूम होते हैं, yeah? और मेरे जैसे बच्चे बड़े चालाक होते हैं. Anyways, questions 25 to 30. What is the speaker's opinion? Underline speaker's opinion of the bike sharing schemes in each of the following cities. Very simple. City names are given and opinion of the speakers about these schemes, right? Now, will you read questions? No. Very good. If you read questions, how? Amsterdam, acha, Europe. Dublin, beautiful city. London, I want to go there. Don't read the names of the cities. They are just fake. They will not tell you anything. Read the options. Opinion of bike sharing schemes. Now listen, they will talk about these opinions one by one in any order, and they are not going to use the same wording. That is why it is important to read each option when they give you 30 seconds, and after reading each option, make up your mind. If they reword it, if they paraphrase it, how can they say it in other words? For example, A, they agree it has been disappointing. Just underline disappointing and agree. Right? They agree it has been disappointing. Option B, they think it should be cheaper. Now they will say it is very expensive. It should be more economical. For cheaper, they can use the word more economical, affordable. These are the synonyms. We need to focus that. Questions, option C, they are surprised. Underline surprised. It has been so successful. So they'll say, we are shocked, we are astonished to see the success. This is the rewording of this option. D, they agree that more investment is required. For more investment, they can use the word more funding, more budget, more money. Do you understand? In the audio, they will speak the synonyms, not the same thing. Option E, they think the system has been well designed. System has been well designed. For system and well designed, they can use any other word, right? Option F, they disagree about the reasons for its success. Now they will tell us the reason for success is this, and they are going to disagree with that. G, they think it has expanded too quickly. It has expanded too quickly. Like within few months it expanded, or within few days it became popular. That means it is extended quickly. Now I play the audio. Amsterdam, your left hand thumb will come on the question. 25, right hand that is holding the pencil, it will move among the options, and then you will see which option is being discussed, and put your pencil always at the end of the options. Especially the words you have underlined, move your, because if your pencil is in the beginning, your eyes will look at A, B, C, D first. If you put the pencil at the end, then you will see the bigger picture. Right? So always put it at the end, right? Done? Wow, congratulations. Thank you. Just I've been informed that my YouTube channel has reached 600,000 subscribers just now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. This is something really great, yeah? Like 3-4 months back, it was 500,000 and now it is 600,000. All right, wish me 1 million, huh? Inshallah. I'm getting? Viral? Really? Okay. I don't know how to react to that, okay? All right, thank you. Anyways, let's just go on. Question number 25. Now, please listen to this and answer.
Shall we look at some examples now and say what we think is good or bad about them?
I suppose we should start with Amsterdam, as this was one of the first cities to have a bike sharing scheme.
Yes, there was already a strong culture of cycling here. In a way, it's strange that there was such a demand for bike sharing, because you'd have thought most people would have used their own bikes.
And yet it's one of the best used schemes.
It's strange. It's strange means it is surprising, has been so successful. I'm playing it again, please focus.
Shall we look at some examples now and say what we think is good or bad about them?
I suppose we should start with Amsterdam, as this was one of the first cities to have a bike sharing scheme.
Yes, there was already a strong culture of cycling here. In a way, it's strange that there was such a demand for bike sharing, because you'd have thought most people would have used their own bikes.
And yet it's one of the best used schemes.
Okay, so it's strange that there was a demand for bike sharing, or people had their own bikes as well. Surprised it has been so successful. 25 answer is C. And whenever you select one option, try to cross it also, because they will not use that second time. One option will be used only once. So you can put a little cross at the end. Now Dublin. Let's go on. Question number 26, Dublin.
Dublin's an interesting example of a success story.
It must be because the public transport system's quite limited.
Not really. There's no underground, but there are trams and a good bus network. I'd say price has a lot to do with it. It's one of the cheapest schemes in Europe to join.
But the buses are really slow. Anyway, the weather certainly can't be a factor.
No, definitely not.
B is they think it should be cheaper. No, you did not notice on 2 points, both of them disagreed. So they disagreed, it is actually F. They disagree about the reasons for its success. Listen to it again. They will disagree on 2 points. Reason, one said reason for success is this, second disagreed. Then other said reason for success is this, again they disagreed. Please listen.
Dublin's an interesting example of a success story.
It must be because the public transport system's quite limited.
Not really.
Not really. The first disagreement. Public transport system is quite limited. Not really.
There's no underground, but there are trams and a good bus network. I'd say price has a lot to do with it. It's one of the cheapest schemes in Europe to join.
But the buses are really slow.
But buses are really slow, so they disagree on 2 points. Actually disagree about the reasons for its success. Now let's go on 27, London. Let's see what do they say about London. Question number 27.
The London scheme's been quite successful.
Yes, it's been a really good thing for the city. The bikes are popular and the whole system is well maintained, but it isn't expanding quickly enough.
Basically, not enough's been spent on increasing the number of cycle lanes. Hopefully that'll change.
Yes.
Not enough being spent on increasing the number of cycle lanes. Not enough being spent. So what does that mean? More investment. Not enough being spent means more investment. It is required. I play this again. Please listen.
The London scheme's been quite successful.
Yes. It's been a really good thing for the city. The bikes are popular and the whole system is well maintained, but it isn't expanding quickly enough.
Basically, not enough's been spent on increasing the number of cycle lanes. Hopefully that'll change.
Yes.
Okay, so it's D, they agree that more investment is required. It's not E, they think the system has been well designed. Agree actually. Let's go on, 28, Buenos Aires. Let's see what do they say about that.
Now, what about outside Europe?
Well, bike sharing schemes have taken off in places like Buenos Aires.
They built a huge network of cycle lanes to support the introduction of the scheme there, didn't they? It attracted huge numbers of cyclists where previously there were hardly any.
An example of good planning.
Absolutely.
An example of good planning. They think the system has been well designed. And at the end, he said, example of good planning. I play this again for you. Please listen.
Now, what about outside Europe?
Well, bike sharing schemes have taken off in places like Buenos Aires.
They built a huge network of cycle lanes to support the introduction of the scheme there, didn't they? It attracted huge numbers of cyclists where previously there were hardly any.
An example of good planning.
Absolutely.
Clear? All right, let's go on. 29, New York. Now let's see what do they say about New York.
New York is a good example of how not to introduce a scheme. When they launched it, it was more than 10 times the price of most other schemes.
More than it costs to take a taxi. Crazy.
More
I think
than-
the organisers lacked vision and ambition there.
I think so too.
So it was very expensive, more than it cost like a taxi. So A is they agree it has been disappointing. No, they talked about cost. They think it should be cheaper. B, I'll play it again. Listen, please.
New York is a good example of how not to introduce a scheme. When they launched it, it was more than 10 times the price of most other schemes.
More than it costs to take a taxi. Crazy. I think the organisers lacked vision and ambition there.
I think so too.
Organizers lacked ambition and vision, so they think it should be cheaper. Why cheaper? Now, like for example, if I say this bottle is very expensive, what does that mean? It should be cheaper. That's why I'm saying it's very expensive, right? So B is the right answer for 29. Last 30, Sydney.
Sydney would be a good example to use. I would have expected it to have grown pretty quickly here.
Yes. I can't quite work out why it hasn't been an instant success like some of the others. It's a shame, really.
I know.
It's a shame, really. So when something, G is they think it has expanded too quickly. It has not expanded too quickly. They said it's a shame, really. It's a shame means when something is disappointing. If one student gets low band score in Ielts, I say it's a shame, really. What does that mean? It has been disappointing. Listen again.
Sydney would be a good example to use. I would have expected it to have grown pretty quickly here.
I would have expected it. I would have expected means it did not happen. I would have expected it to grow quickly. So it means it did not grow quickly. Right? So I would have expected means it didn't happen actually.
Yes. I can't quite work out why it hasn't been an instant success like some of the others. It's a shame, really.
I know.
It's a shame, really. I know. They agree. I know means they agree. It is disappointing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go on. Part 4. Complete the notes below. Write one word only. No number, nothing else. And I tell you again, part 1 and part 4. These two parts give you great opportunity to get 20 by 20. Part 1, one word only. Part 4, one word only. Only part 2 and 3, especially part 3, can be quite confusing. Like, this audio, the last questions, I played it one by one. Just imagine they were all played at once and you didn't know what to do. At the end, you say, I missed 6 questions. What should I do now? Okay, but part 4 and part 1, they can be your very good friends. So what you lose in part 2 or 3, you can get it again in part 4. Therefore, pay more attention. Now, extinction of the dodo, it's dodo, not dadu, dodo bird. Extinction means to die out, to finish. Extinction of the dodo bird. Now, there is going to be a research about extinction of this bird. Like, dinosaurs are extinct now. In the same way, extinction of dodo bird. Dodo is a bird, it is extinct now, we don't know about it. Now, let's see. The dodo was large flightless bird and all that. History. Now, please come to 1507. The clue word is 1507. Portuguese ships transporting dash stopped at the island. Now, look here. Portuguese ships and they were transporting. For transporting, they may use the word carrying. They may use the word maybe transporting, carrying, trading, shifting, right? Taking, or anything like that. Now just you need to find out that those Portuguese ships, what were they carrying in them, and whatever they were carrying, that will be your answer. Simple, huh? Now I play it, please listen and answer question number 31.
One of the most famous cases of extinction is that of a bird known as the dodo. In fact, there's even a saying in English, as dead as the dodo, used to refer to something which no longer exists. But for many centuries, the dodo was alive and well, although it could only be found in one place, the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. It was a very large bird, about 1 meter tall, and over the centuries it had lost the ability to fly, but it survived happily under the trees that covered the island. Then, in the year 1507, the first Portuguese ships stopped at the island. The sailors were carrying spices back to Europe and found the island a convenient stopping place where they could stock up.
Sailors were carrying spices back to Europe. Sailors were carrying spices, so Portuguese ships transporting spices. The same one like masala jaat, yeah, kali mirch and blah blah blah, like that. Spices. So the answer is spices. Now, by the way, somebody asked me singular plural. Who asked me? You asked me. Now see over here, if you write spice or spices, it will not make the difference because there is no verb which will change according to the subject. So answer can be spice or spices, both are right. Even though in the audio they said spices, but you can write spices well, right? So let's go on. You know the spelling of spices, huh? S-P-I-S-E-S. Very good. Now, question number 32. Clue word 1638. The Dutch established a dash on the island. For example, Dutch established a hotel or restaurant or whatever. And for established, they can use any other word. They made, they introduced, or something like that. Okay. Now, please focus. 1638, Dutch established that on the island.
However, in 1638, the Dutch arrived and set up a colony there.
And set up a colony there. Colony, yeah? They said colony. I don't know colony. Colony, yeah, I know colony. Okay. So, for established, they use the word set up. Set up and established, and answer is colony. English, you know, English. Colony. No, not systems. It's one word only. Oh, colonial system. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Still we are under their influence and doing Ielts. Huh? You are absolutely right. So answer is colony. Let's go on, and then you can see 2 more bullet points without question. That means audio will go on and on and on. Sometimes you know what happens? You feel itching. Main answer kyun nahi likh raha? Audio is going on and on and on, and then you will see someone writing the answer, and then you are more scared. Why is he writing the answer? Let me tell you, when you go to take your IELTS test, there are many duffers around. Okay, so don't just think, okay, he is writing, I'm not writing. Just relax, calm down. And I would say, when you take your IELTS listening test, just cut off. One of my students said, sir, I was just like this throughout the test. All the time. Headphone was there. I did not even see here and there during the test. So that is even better, right? But sometimes you need to see. When I took my IELTS first time, there were questions, like 3 questions on the last page. I was doing listening. And I read until 38, until 38. Then 39 and 40 on the next page. And I didn't know. I thought maybe all 40 questions are here. Then suddenly I heard pages being turning and all that. They turned the pages all around. Then I turned the page. 2 questions were there. And I was totally unaware that there were any questions. But by chance I found the answers. Maybe that's why I got 8 band in listening. Huh? So you'll get even more. When I took the IELTS test, even I was not aware of these things which I'm teaching you now. So you can even get better. Anyways, so audio will go on. Next is description. They will talk about descriptions and pictures. Now the next one is question number 33. A Dutch painting. Now please focus, Dutch painting. Okay, when in the audio they say Dutch painting, be alert, now answer is going to come. And before that, just calm down. When you are coming down, don't look here and there, don't read other questions, just put your thumb in the beginning and pencil where the question is. Now for example, thumb a Dutch and pencil on 33. A Dutch painting suggests the dodo was very, now it's going to be a characteristic of dodo. Dodo was very big, dodo was very small, dodo was very fast, dodo was beautiful, dodo was yummy. Okay, yeah. You know, whenever we look at the bird, halal hai haram hai. Halal, do that and all that. So let's see, question number 33 please.
The best known picture is a Dutch painting in which the bird appears to be extremely fat. But this may not be accurate. An Indian painting done at the same time shows a much thinner bird.
Okay, Dutch painting suggests dodo was very, extremely. No, that is Indian painting. Then they said Indian painting. I'll play it again because you are right, absolutely right. Okay, that is the answer. Focus again.
The best known picture is a Dutch painting in which the bird appears to be extremely fat.
Appears to be
But
extremely
this may not
fat.
be accurate. An Indian painting done at the same time shows a much thinner bird.
So Indian painting shows thinner bird, but Dutch painting shows extremely fat. What will be the answer? Fat. One word only. Okay. Now it's fat, not cat. Let's go on. Question number 34. 34. The only remaining soft tissue is a dried dash. Now focus soft tissue. Only remaining soft tissue is a dried something. Like something which is dry. Okay, let's see what that is.
Although attempts were made to preserve the bodies of some of the birds, no complete specimen survives. In the early 17th century, 4 dried parts of a bird were known to exist. Of these, 3 have disappeared, so only one example of soft tissue from the dodo survives, a dodo head.
Exactly. So soft tissue is a dried head. They said dodo's head. Only remaining soft tissues, they said out of 4, 3 couldn't survive, 1 survived, and that was dodo's head. Listen again.
Although attempts were made to preserve the bodies of some of the birds, no complete specimen survives. In the early 17th century, 4 dried parts of a bird were known to exist. Of these, 3 have disappeared. So only one example of soft tissue from the dodo survives, a dodo head.
Head. Okay. Let's go on. Question number 35. Recent studies of a dodo skeleton suggest the birds were capable of rapid dash. For rapid, they can use the word quick or any other word like that. Swift, rapid, quick, swift, fast. Whatever they say after that, that will be the answer. Recent studies of a dodo skeleton suggest the birds were capable of. For capable of, they can use the word birds could. Capable of means they could, right? And then rapid. So please focus.
Bones have also been found, but there's only one complete skeleton in existence. This single dodo skeleton has recently been the subject of scientific research, which suggests that many of the earlier beliefs about dodos may have been incorrect. For example, early accounts of the birds mention how slow and clumsy it was. But scientists now believe the bird's strong knee joints would have made it capable of movement, which was not slow, but actually quite fast.
Capable of,
in fact,
movement,
one 17th
which was not slow, quite fast. So answer is movement. Movement that was fast means rapid movement. Movement, M-O-V-E-M-E-N-T, movement. Okay, let's go on. Question number 36. It's thought they were able to use their small wings to maintain. Yeah, maybe because they were unable to fly. In the beginning they said flightless bird, right? So, but they used their wings for some purpose to maintain. Now for maintain they can use any other word. Let's see what that is.
It's true that the dodo's small wings wouldn't have allowed it to leave the ground, but the scientists suggest that these were probably employed for balance while going over uneven ground.
These were probably employed. These means wings. For wings they use the word these. These were employed for balance, right? So wings to maintain balance. That's right. Balance is the right answer. Exactly. Is it all clear? Yes. Yeah? Okay, good. Question number 37. Their dash was of average size. Now something related to dodo which was of average size. Average size means neither big nor small, medium sized. Let's see what it is, right? Now it's going to be a part of body, part of dodo's body which was of average size. Let's go on.
Another group of scientists carried out analysis of the dodo's skull. They found that the reports of the lack of intelligence of the dodo were not borne out by their research, which suggested the bird's brain was not small, but average in size. In fact, in relation to its body size,
bird's brain was not small but average in size. So their brain was average size. Right? Answer is brain. That's right. Very good. Let's go on. Their sense of dash, very simple. It's going to be a sense. Like we human have 5 senses. So it's going to be a sense. Answer is a sense. For sense they can use any other word. Sense of dash enabled them to find food. Imagine a bird and a sense helped the bird find food. Which sense? Sight or taste? But taste will not help you find food. Smell, maybe smell. Let's see. Now see, by the way, you are all imagining dodo bird. Yeah, whatever your dodo is bigger, your dodo is small, your dodo is black, your dodo is red, but you're all imagining a bird like dodo. Yeah, okay, maybe a kiwi-like bird, like kiwi is a bird. Okay, 38.
the researchers also found that the structure of the bird's skull suggested that one sense which was particularly well developed was that of smell. So the dodo may also have been particularly good at locating ripe fruit.
Okay, one sense that was particularly well developed was smell. Now, if you are anticipating a sense and smell comes, you will immediately write it. So that is why reading the question is very important. Okay, let's go on. Reasons for extinction. Why did this bird become an extinct? Reasons for extinction. Hunting was probably not the main cause. They will talk about hunting. Sailors brought dogs and monkeys. They will talk about that. Dogs and monkeys. But the third one is dash also escaped on the island and ate the bird's egg. Now listen. Dash also escaped on the island and ate the bird's egg. It means it is going to be another animal. An animal that ate the eggs of dodo bird, and dodo bird became extinct. They will talk about hunting. They will talk about sailors, dogs and monkeys, but then they will talk about another animal. So after dogs and monkeys, the next animal that ate dodo's egg will be the answer. Right? Maybe crow. Crows also eat eggs, yeah. But anyways, let's just see.
So it looks as if the dodo was better able to survive and defend itself than was originally believed. Yet, less than 200 years after Europeans first arrived on the island, they had become extinct. So what was the reason for this? For a long time it was believed that the dodos were hunted to extinction. But scientists now believe the situation was more complicated than this. Another factor may have been the new species brought to the island by the sailors. These included dogs, which would have been a threat to the dodos, and also monkeys, which ate the fruit that was the main part of the dodos' diet. These were brought to the island deliberately. But the ships also brought another type of creature, rats, which came to land from the ships and rapidly overran the island. These upset the ecology of the island, not just the dodos, but other species too. However, they were a particular danger to the dodos because they consumed their eggs. Since each dodo only laid one at a time, this probably had a devastating effect on populations.
Okay, so they ate eggs. What is that? Rats. R-A-T-S. Rats. If you noticed one thing, they are so vele. दुनिया आगे जा रही है, पीछे जा रहे हैं. डोडो मर गया, खत्म हो गई गल. But now they are doing some investigation. Dodo, why it became extinct, and एक दिन आएगा उन्हें डोडो बना भी लेना. Yeah, they are just doing it all. So the answer is rats. R-A-T-S. Rats. Question number 40. The arrival of farming. Farming means agriculture. The arrival of farming meant the dash was destroyed. For destroyed, they can use the word damaged or any other word. Now, whatever was destroyed because of farming or agriculture, that will be your answer. Just focus the word damaged, destroyed, and all that. Last question.
However, we now think that probably the main cause of the bird's extinction was not the introduction of non-native species, but the introduction of agriculture. This meant that the forest that had once covered all the island and that had provided a perfect home for the dodo was cut down so that crops such as sugar could be grown.
Dash was cut down. Forest. And you know what did they do after forest? They explained once that provided this. And then another explanation. And then they said was cut down. So cut down means destroyed and forest is the right answer. Okay? Thank you.